Hello everyone and welcome back to Sepang International Circuit for round 11 of Porsche Carrera Cup Asia 2024 season. It's been pouring rain the whole day today and it's still a little bit drizzling now, but the passion for motorsport that we have certainly does not get affected by today's weather. Let's hear from our pit reporter Steve Dawson on what's going to happen later.
A little bit drizzly, you're absolutely right, but we've got tremendous excitement. How about this for a grid? We've got Mathis Jobert in P1, championship leader Alessandro Guiretti in P2, and the winner of last night's tremendously exciting race, Dylan Carrera, he's in P3. Now, among the Pro-Ams, we've got Liu Kai-shun in pole position. I'm afraid Bao Jinlong is back on the naughty step. He's right at the back of the grid. But don't forget, this is an endurance race, so 45 minutes, a whole 50% longer than normal. We've seen him charge through the pack before and get onto the podium. Slightly longer race today means maybe he could even work his way to the top step. It's within his capabilities. He's done it before. For the amateurs, well, it is Eric Kwong on pole, and he's got a whole host of his nearest rivals right behind him. So there's a lot of excitement potentially here today.
I think in another way, the weather today is going to give our drivers another advantage because it's not scorching hot. Yeah. So thank you, Steve. Let's pass it back to our commentators.
Thank you, Sammy. Thank you, Steve. Well done to you both, braving the elements out on the grid as the drivers make their way along to come and greet you. My name is Peter Mackay. I'm up here in the Global Broadcast Centre, ready for this extended edition of the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia. As Steve mentioned, 45 minutes of racing in the rain at Sepang. If that doesn't test your focus and resolve, I don't know. But we had some great action yesterday under the lights. Let's take a look. So we kicked off in the early evening with Alessandro Guiretti on pole position. But he had his compatriot Matthias Jobert to contend with, who made an amazing effort to try and settle the score from race number 1 on Saturday morning. And Jobert was in really feisty mood, as was Guiretti, as the two Frenchmen got together at turn 2. But the action continued up and down the field with a little mistake early on, unfortunately, for Modern Motorsports, John Shen. But really, it was the story at the front. Dylan Carrera, the 2022 Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup champion, being chased hard by Matthias Jobert, who's having a superb weekend here in Sepang. One driver who's had a mixed weekend is Bao Jinlong. Had a win in race 1, not so in race 2. Jobert tried everything. He made every little effort he could to put Dylan Carrera under pressure, but it wasn't quite enough. Carrera coming out on top under the lights at Sepang and goes into this wet race with confidence high. So the drivers all making their way out to the grid at the moment. Will be very important laps right now. Having a look to see what the conditions are like, but Steve and Sammy are down on the grid and they found a VIP.
Thank you, commentators. Now joining me on the track, we have the series manager of Porsche Carrera Cup Asia, Mr. Alex Imperatori, to join us on track. So Alex, nice to see you. Can you say hi to the audience?
Hi Sammy, hi everyone.
So Alex, we know that later on this is going to be an endurance race with a full 43 minutes plus one more lap. Can you share with us how does it being different from the typical Carrera Cup Asia race?
Yes, it's an exciting new format this weekend. First time in the history of PCCA. It's going to be a longer race, 50% longer than usual. So it's going to be a challenge for the drivers, you know, physically but also mentally to stay focused for this long. The conditions are not going to be easy out there mentally. At least it's a reprieve on the physical side, perhaps with the heat being less than it's potentially the case in Malaysia. But it's always a challenge for the drivers. We also have normally a rolling start for this race, although with the weather conditions, the race director could decide to do it behind the safety car. So we will see, but it's an exciting new format and we hope it will bring an exciting show for you at home.
So speaking about physical fitness and mental fortitude, I think there are also some news about the Carrera Cup Asia talent pools, is that right?
Yes, we've announced just this week that we will hold the next talent pool assessment test at the end of the year here in Sepang on the 2nd, 3rd and 4th of December to look for the next participant of our talent pool for PCCA 2025 and potentially the next global superstar. So for more details, feel free to go on our channels to find all the information.
Wow, that's a great demonstration on the passion for cultivating local racing talents. I think there are also something more to expect for the final stops of the season as well, isn't it?
Yes, we have 2 more stops, but before that we're also going to Phuket, Thailand with the talent pool, because we have our second training camp of the season where we will put the drivers through some rigorous testing on the physical side, and then we will go to Singapore for our next round before we finish the season at home in Shanghai with the Porsche Sports Cup China. It will be a great Porsche event in the Porsche family atmosphere.
That sounds really exciting. So thank you so much, Alex, for joining us today. Let's enjoy the race together and pass it back to our commentators.
Thank you, Sammy. Great to hear from Alex Imperatore there, former champion of this series back in 2012. And now he's not retired from driving, definitely not, but he's now running this wonderful championship and adding his expertise, not only on the organisation side, but also the driving side too. The weather, well, as is the case in Malaysia, sometimes you can get a drop of rain or two, and we've had that over the last 24 hours or so. 30 degrees Celsius air temperature, but really it's the track that we've got to think about. It's fully wet and is going to put the Michelin wet tyre to the full test, and of course the drivers as well. Doesn't appear to be a huge amount of standing water out there, which is great. The Sepang International Circuit does drain very well, but the track is fully wet, so the drivers are going to be really put to the ultimate exam under pressure, and they're all making their way to the grid now. And this is something where Alex Imperatore mentioned there, the concentration required in the wet. Yes, it's easier physically because it's cooler and the car's not going through the same G-forces as it normally would in the dry, but the mental concentration required is huge. You can see also the Michelin engineers just checking tyre pressures after the gridding lap, just to check that everything is as it should be and making sure those starting pressures are right. But let's hear from yesterday's winner, Dylan Carrera.
Dylan Carrera, winner of that fantastically entertaining race yesterday. Hi, Dylan. Really super win last night. Can you achieve the same thing over a longer distance, 45 minutes today?
So it's different stuff right now. We have rain conditions, so it will be definitely different. So we will see. I think I will try my best. I will for sure try to do the same than yesterday, to pass everyone at the beginning if possible. But I think it's really difficult conditions right now. We never drove on rain here, so we will see. The car felt quite good and the outlap now, so let's see where we end up. I think I will try everything because I think we are between the championship and we have to collect some points.
Difficult conditions, good luck.
Thank you.
A very focused Dylan Carrera there, ready for action. Interesting, he said there on the gridding lap, said the car felt good. Every single metre is important when you're behind the wheel of the race car, and Dylan Carrera is so experienced. He's done so many miles in this 911 GT3 Cup car, particularly of the 992 generation, the latest generation, and he'll know what a good wet setup feels like, and that's ominous for the rest of the field, that Dylan Carrera feels confident with how things feel. But there's battles going on up and down the field with the Pro-Am Championship and the Am Championship as well. Zhang Yaji has had a strong weekend. He will start from 11th on the grid, and he is down there somewhere in the middle of all the hullabaloo on the grid. Lots of guests getting up there close with the stars, and even local band as well here in Kuala Lumpur. Fantastic. Let's get down to Steve then and see who he's caught up with.
Zhang Yaki, car 888 in P11 today. How have you managed to stay focused? Because there's been a lot of doubt about whether or not this race would take place with all the rain we've had.
for this condition and this weather, we should focus on the track because our car got no ABS, no traction control. It's hard to control the cars. We have to focus on stay in the car to keep our safe. Then we can fight.
And with 45 minutes rather than 30, that adds even more complication.
I think the main point is that tires. We have to keep some tires, make the car can run longer. If we use too much in the beginning, we lost the race.
All right, good luck, drive safely.
Yeah, thank you.
A very good point there from Zhang Yatzi, keeping the tyre, keeping it under control all the way through this 45-minute race is going to be really, really important. Because if you go too hard, too early, and you take too much of the life out of the tyre, you're not going to have the performance later on in at the stint. And this is a great test because this is almost like a simulation of an endurance racing stint. And these Porsche 911 GT3 Cup cars can be used in endurance racing as well as they do here in a sprint format in at the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia and Carrera Cups all around the world. Starting 13th, though, is Henry Kwong, and he's caught up with Steve.
Car number 91, Henry Kwong, for the amateur drivers. Henry, you've got your brother in front of you. You've got Satyen Tirikul behind you. It's already a very crowded grid. It looks pretty intense. How are you going to manage all that?
Well, just need to finish the race in one piece and try to call up as soon as there's a chance because it's a different surface, different race, and just try to finish the race safely.
Yeah, there's not much rain in the air at the moment, but the track's slippery and the track temperature is down. Is that a real challenge for you?
Oh yeah, of course. It's the same for everyone. That's why we need to try our best, and experience will help a lot, and try to finish the race. Yeah.
Stay safe today. Good luck.
Thank you.
So getting confirmation from race control, the race will start behind the Porsche 911 Carrera S safety car. Great call there from race control, I would say. It's all change, really, at the top of the championship. Alessandro Gueretti came into this round with a 32-point advantage. That has been trimmed to just 14, with Matthias Schaubert putting together an amazing weekend and closing down the gap between his rival, with Dylan Pereira also just trimming the gap slightly in third. Bao Junlong's had an up and down weekend, a win in race one, but a difficult encounter yesterday, but still has a very, very big lead, 99 points from Li Juanyu, with Li Chao sitting there in the third at the moment, and Yang Yatzi, who we spoke to a moment ago, in fourth. Eric Kwong and Munkong Satyen Tirikul. That is one of the best battles to watch all season long here in the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia. Munkong Satyen Tirikul put an amazing move in to win the race on the last lap yesterday in the AM class, and he's trimmed the gap to just 17 points to Kwong. Watch out to see how that one develops over the course of this race. So Dylan Pereira looking calm, looking focused, ready for action. All of the grid has been cleared off. The drivers just left to their own thoughts. The mechanic will shut the door and it will be time to go. Fire the engine up and off they go. Sepang International Circuit, wonderful venue to come to, just outside the capital city of Kuala Lumpur. 5.5 kilometres, 15 turns, and some good overtaking opportunities, particularly down into turn one. That's been a popular overtaking opportunity this weekend. Likewise, down into turn 9 as well, as a big downhill braking zone into that left-hand hairpin, and that gives a great opportunity to make some moves and progress up the field. Wonderful circuit. It's been here since 1998, was built to a Hermann Tilke design and has hosted 19 Formula One Grand Prix and is a stalwart of the MotoGP Motorcycle World Championship. Race control on top of everything as the grid is completely cleared, and we will start the race behind the safety car. Quite normal procedure when the conditions are on the tricky side. just to give the drivers a chance to get everything up to speed, to get the tyres up to temperature and pressure, to get themselves used to the changing grip conditions. Because if the weather, say, dried up, this circuit will dry very, very quickly. And at that point, you've got wet tyres on a dry track, and that's when they begin to overheat. So this is something that we'll have to really bear in mind as Matthias Joubert will lead us away from pole position in that number 99 Toro Racing machine. It's been a great weekend for the Frenchman, but he will be put to the test by the number 55, Alessandro Gueretti, for Team Jebsen, your championship leader. Dylan Pereira will start from third, alongside Rodrigo Diaz Almeida for R&B Racing. Martin Ragginger, always fast in the wet, will start from fifth, and Nazim Asman, no stranger at all to the Sepang International Circuit. Marco Giltrap had some great performances all weekend. He starts from seventh, alongside the Pro-Am pole sitter Liu Kai Shun. Eric Zhang will start from ninth, alongside Li Juanyu. On row 6, it's Yang Yatzi in the 888 car, alongside the AM Championship leader, number 23, Eric Huang. Then it's Eric's brother Henry in 13th in car number 91, alongside Zhao Ji Quan. Starting 15th is second in the AM Championship, Munkong Satya in Tirakul, alongside the Malaysian veteran, Adrian De Silva. Lucia Y will start from 17th, alongside Modena Motorsports' John Shen. On row 10, it's Dominic Chia for Trans-China Automotive Racing, alongside Chu Jie-Feng for Z-Speed Motorsport. Yao Liang Bo will start 21st, beside Li Chao, who's got work to do, from 22nd on the grid. Harris Lee will start from 23rd, alongside Yang Ke. And then on row 13, well, Christian Chia will start from 25th, alongside Pro-Class driver Dylan If, another driver with plenty to do. Henrik Yayasoa Tadi will start 27th, with Pro-Am Championship leader Bao Jinlong starting all the way back in 28th. And likewise, Daniel Lu Wen Long starts from 29th, former overall champion in this series. After qualifying, the car was measured to be underweight, so all of his qualifying times were deleted, and therefore he has started from the back in all three races here at Sepang. Spare a thought for the drivers who are going to be in the middle of the pack as well, because the spray coming up from the cars ahead is really, really difficult to handle and to have good vision through. So if you're Matthias Joubert, you're in the ideal position at the front of the field with a clear view forward. Lights are still on the safety car. We will go racing when those lights go out. The clock has started, so just over 40 minutes on the clock at the moment. Again, very normal procedure for starting a race in these conditions, and when it rains in Malaysia, it can be pretty extreme, to say the least. If you race regularly and in Malaysia, you'll be used to racing in the rain. So don't be surprised to see some of our Malaysian drivers making good steps forward in these wet conditions. That being said, if you've raced like Matthias Joubert or Alessandro Gueretti in Northwest Europe, also racing in the rain is an important skill all the way through karting and the single-seater ranks as well. Watch also for Dylan Pereira in that bright pink BWT water car for Team Shanghai Yonda, car number 5. He's got so much experience in this 911 GT3 Cup machine, and particularly in the wet conditions. So he will be, I'm sure, feeling quite confident with the conditions right now. So the Porsche 911 Carrera S, our pace car for this weekend. We usually have, across the course of the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia season, we have a variety of different machines from the Porsche range, and Porsche 911 Carrera S will guide us around. This is probably a day where you want a Porsche 911 Carrera 4S for the four-wheel drive to give you that extra grip. Now this is interesting. Dry Michelin tyres are being readied down at Earl Bamber Motorsport, who runs several cars in in this championship. Now, I doubt they'll be coming onto them straight away because it is still fully wet, but if the rain goes off and the ambient temperature is still pretty warm and Sepang International Circuit does dry quite quickly, we could well see some pit stops later on in the race. Particularly if we see a safety car, that might be an opportunity to come in and change the tyres. Team Shanghai Yonda also discussing the plan too. Wheel guns are at the ready. Those Michelin Pilot Sport slick dry tyres are there ready to go. So two types of tyre available. There's the dry slick with no grooves at all. Perfect for dry conditions, not so for wet. Very difficult to get the tyre up to its operating temperature in the wet, and also the standing water. You've got no grooves to clear the water, so the car effectively skates over the top. The wets, they're fantastic in the wet. They clear the water out the way, they stay at the right temperature, but as soon as it starts to dry, it gets a little bit too warm for the tyre. Matthias Jobert has opened up the gas. He will lead us into racing here for round 11 of the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia. Big spray for all of the competitors there, so Jobert will lead us away. No overtaking until the start and finish line. Now bunches everybody back up again, and Jobert hits the gas. We're green flag racing here at Sepang International Circuit. Jobert making the perfect getaway, but here comes Guiretti, who's very late on the brakes and leaning into the brakes of his Porsche 911 GT3 Cup, and it's very, very wide for Dylan Pereira, who gets it all wrong on the braking, and Guiretti looking up for this one, big style, as they come out of turn 3 and go up the gearbox, opening up the power for the run towards turn 4, trying to find the grip, seeing where it is, how much can they get the power down, and Guiretti's feeling brave. He goes out onto the curb. He's going to try and go around the outside of Matthias Jobert, but no, Jobert manages to hold him off for now, but Guiretti looking very racy in these wet conditions. This is fantastic stuff early on in this race. 36 minutes left on the clock after that safety car start. It's going to be a shootout all the way to the flag, I'm sure. Jobert running a little bit wide. Guiretti tries to tuck it underneath there. No, not quite. So it's Jobert who leads then from Guiretti, from Dylan Pereira, and they're already making a little bit of a breakaway from Rodrigo Diaz Almeida in fourth. Then it's the Seam Derby car of Nazim Asman. Now down into turn 9, big braking zone here. Jobert goes to cut the line off. Here comes Pereira then. Pereira had a little look up the inside of Guiretti there. It's so close at the front, so evenly matched, the top three. Oh, big moment there for Guiretti. Huge moment for Guiretti there. Just as he went to turn in, the front said, "You must be kidding," and big understeer there for Guiretti, but he's got some fantastic car control, has that young man, as do all of these top three. This is what motor racing in the wet is so special for. When you watch these drivers, oh, and it's a mistake for Jobert. It's the same corner he made a mistake on the last lap last night, and Guiretti goes through. So championship leader Alessandro Guiretti goes through, but Jobert trying not to lose 2 places in 1. 34 minutes to go, and Jobert has the inside line for the hairpin here, trying to hold off Pereira. Pereira's going to go try and round the wide line and try and cut back then as well, as does Guiretti a little bit. Side by side then, not quite, no. Jobert is just able to hold off Pereira and no more, but it's Alessandro Guiretti who leads. So down into turn 1 they go then. Guiretti leading from Jobert. Then it's, oh, can Jobert get it stopped? He's dealing with a lot of understeer there. The car just adds to the front to turn in, and it's just not biting in these wet conditions. Oh, this is fantastic to watch. The car's looking so expressive in the wet, but there's nothing like a Porsche 911 for that out of corner drive. You might see a little bit of difficulty going into the corner, but coming out of the corner, the acceleration is incredible. The rear engine layout, that rear engine all over the back wheels, just gives great out of the corner traction. Look at that, all 3 leaders, no wheel spin at all, off they go, just catapulting out the corner. Nothing like a 911 for that. Little mistake there from Pereira. This is really on the edge stuff for our leading drivers, and they've got to do this for a much longer distance than a regular Porsche Carrera Cup Asia race. not seeing much of a breakaway. In fact, quite the opposite. We're seeing actually a 6-car bunch at the front of the field. Normally we would see it spread out slightly, but not so. We've got 6 cars here, all fighting over, in fact, make that 7 cars, all fighting over this podium and lead battle, all the way to Marco Giltrap there in 7th. Update on our back of the grid starters. Daniel Lewin Long has gone from 29th to 18th already in just 2 laps. That's quite remarkable, to say the least. Baojian Long a little bit more steady away, though. He's just gained 2 positions, so he sits down in 26. So work to do for Baojian Long. But here comes Martin Ragginger then. Martin Ragginger from the number 86 car goes up the inside of Nazim Azman at turn 14. Can he get the job done? Yes, snips the nose off there. Brilliant stuff from a hugely experienced Martin Ragginger, a driver with so much experience in this championship, but also at the Nürburgring Nordschleife. So racing in the rain is of no concern to Martin Ragginger. Moved then by Rodrigo Diaz Almeida and Marco Giltrap as Almeida's going to, they nearly touch. I think they maybe did touch just a little bit, and Giltrap had absolutely no choice to back out of that one. Already track limit warning, turn 4 for Martin Ragginger. Track limits in the wet, so clearly there's grip out on the curbs, otherwise the drivers would be going nowhere near them. Asman's wanting to get his own back. He's going to try and get a Sepang move done here, down into turn 3. No, Ragginger holds him off for now. That's such a cool section there, turn 1, 2, 3. It's so slow, but there's great opportunity to try and make an overtaking manoeuvre. But at the front, it's Alessandro Guiretti, who I'm sure went to bed last night not pleased with his day. Finished race 1 first on the road, but was demoted with a 10-second penalty after being deemed to cause a collision with Matthias Jobert, and scored 1 point rather than the full 25. So, and then in the night race, finished a very distant 3rd. That is not what he comes here to do, our championship leader, and he's looking to put that right here in these wet conditions. Windscreen wiper still on, but that could be more to do with the spray from the car ahead rather than continuous rain. So, this will be wet tyres all the way to the end. It's going to be very, very tricky to keep that tyre in its operating window, because with the tread blocks of a wet weather tyre, they move to generate temperature, which is what you need in a wet weather tyre. But again, you can overheat it if it gets too dry on the track surface, and also as the tyre, as you put more miles on it, the tread blocks start to wear away as well. So by the end of the race, you can have not a great deal of tread left, and therefore not enough tread to remove the standing water on the track. But let's see who manages it that best. The wet tyre, very, very soft compound too, so again, to give grip in wet conditions, but if it begins to dry, then that's not so good. It becomes too soft. So at the moment it's full wet, and Marco Giltrap trying to use the alternative line here to try and make a move on Rodrigo Diaz Almeida, and they both have big snap understeer moments there. Then the rear comes right. Oh my word, this is proper tightrope stuff. Remember, these cars have no anti-lock braking system and no traction control, so you are on your own. These are an amazing tool to teach yourself how to handle a high-powered GT car without the safety net of the driver age. You are on your own here as well, and that's why so many drivers love these cars, because they're raw, they're almost old school in that sense, and very deliberately so. So great stuff at the front. Alessandro Guiretti's just had to put in an immense lap there. Get this, 2 minutes 21. Spin for Adrian De Silva, and he's going to have to wait until everyone goes by, keeps the car moving. Gets back going again. So easy to do there into turn 1. Did he? Yeah, just got it a little bit wide. Rear comes around. So easy done in these wet conditions. Make no mistake, this is super, super difficult. in the wet. Like I said, no traction control, no ABS, so easy to do there at turn 1 after one of the biggest braking zones on the circuit. No such problem for Dylan Pereira and Martin Ragginger using a lot of the curb there, and Ragginger getting a big oversteer moment there as he lights it up on the curb coming out of turn 8 and down to turn 9. And Ragginger now looking to get on the podium here, putting Pereira under pressure, who's lost the scent a little bit of Matthias Joubert in second. Meanwhile, Giltrap and Rodrigo Diaz Almeida, they're attached at the hip here, as Giltrap trying everything he can to try and make a move on Rodrigo Diaz Almeida, but Almeida covering it off very, very strongly right now. So lap time last time by, Alessandro Gueretti was nearly 2 seconds quicker than Matthias Joubert. As here goes Giltrap, the door is left open by Almeida, but Almeida, is he going to come back through the back door now? No. So Giltrap gets the job done then at turn 14. So Marco Giltrap moves up into 6th position, but Diaz Almeida, he's not having any of it, as Marco Giltrap has to go. Oh, he gets into the back of him. Giltrap's in the wall. Giltrap's in the wall. Rodrigo Diaz Almeida gets into the back of Marco Giltrap and sends him into the fence. He skittles across the track and into the gravel trap. That will surely be a safety car. Oh, poor old Marco Giltrap there. He was covering his line on the inside, and I think Diaz Almeida just made a little error under braking and bang into the back of that number 84 machine. Let's get another look at it. And Giltrap's holding his line. He's not moving under braking, and just an error there from Diaz Almeida. That will be no consolation to Marco Giltrap. And in these conditions, it's really, there's nothing you can do there. This will surely be a safety car to recover this stricken number 84 machine. And what a pity. That was such an exciting battle there between Diaz Almeida and Giltrap. But in these conditions, you're just walking on the tightrope of grip. Meanwhile, Eric Kwong there and Satyen Tirukul battling over the AM class lead, as they have done almost all season. So we stay green flag racing for now. No mention of a safety car on the time screen just yet. 26 minutes left on the clock, and a safety car is exactly what Alessandro Gueretti, the race leader, does not want to see, because he has an advantage of 3.9 seconds. He was pulling away, using that tyre to lay down some pace, and we do have a safety car. So Matthias Joubert, I'm sure, is dancing a jig in his number 99 machine, because that 3.9 second lead will be evaporated. And for Martin Ragginger in third, that brings him back into the game. It brings Dylan Pereira back into the game in fourth, and Nazim Azman too in fifth. So a safety car here at Sepang with 25 minutes on the clock. The clock keeps ticking here in this endurance race, and the wonderful Sepang International Circuit safety crew will need to recover that number 84 El Bamba Motorsport car of Marco Giltrap. That car that sits beached in the gravel at turn 15. There it is on the bottom left of your shot. And I would think pretty upset Marco Giltrap there. These things can happen in racing, and you can be sure that Marco will be back to fight another day. Your leader in Pro-Am, your winner under the lights last night, Luo Kai Shun, had again a mixed bag of a weekend. In race 1, he had damage to his front left tyre, which caused him to retire, and then in race 2 managed to get the win in the Pro-Am class. Right now he sits in the lead of the class, but that safety car has not come at a good time. He had a gap of 4.5 seconds there to the 321 of Li Xuan Yu, and that brings him back into the game. It also brings Eric Zhang back into the game in that Pro-Am battle, which is in 7th, 8th and 9th overall. In the AM class, well, as we mentioned, Eric Kwong and Munkong Satyen Tirukul battling away as usual. They didn't need a safety car to bring them together because they are right beside each other on track. It's almost like they find each other on track every single race here in the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia in 2024. It's been such a joy to follow that battle for the AM Championship, which really, with after this one, we still have 5 races left to go, so it is still wide open in that AM Championship, with Kwong leading by just 17 points. So a victory here would be really, really useful for his championship aspirations. And of course, 3 championships in one: the Pro-Am, and the AM. With Alessandro Guiretti, the latest Porsche Junior driver, your championship leader right now, but has had his lead trimmed quite considerably over the course of this weekend, despite having pretty strong pace, it must be said. Just the racing gods have not been in his favour at all. Tell you what has been so exciting this weekend is car number 20, Daniel Lu Wenlong, who unfortunately has had to start from the back in each of the 3 races due to his car being underweight after qualifying. But watching him cut through the pack, the former champion of this series, has just been a joy. He's in this race 29th up to 10th, and actually a safety car works kind of in 2 ways for him, because in one way it's good because it bunches the field up and he can then make some moves forward. In other ways it's bad because it's running out of competitive time where he can make overtaking. He can't overtake behind the safety car, so that's one thing that's to bear in mind for Daniel Lu Wenlong. But from 29th to 10th in just over 20 minutes, not bad. Saw Marco Giltrap there getting assisted by the marshals. So back under safety car, and that's how we started the race. And Martin Ragginger in the 86 Porsche holding car, he's had a great encounter so far, up from, started 5th on the grid, he's up to 3rd. Not such a good start to the race for Adrian De Silva, just making an error that many have made going down into turn 1. But this is why we're under safety car. Rodrigo Diaz Almeida just, I think, went for the brake pedal and just not quite judging that correctly at all. An error of judgment there from Rodrigo Diaz Almeida. Marco Giltrap was defending his line, keeping the car straight, not moving under braking. So that's just really, really rotten luck there for Marco Giltrap. And I'm sure the stewards will take a look at that, I would imagine, after the race. And again, they'll probably take into account the fact that we're under wet conditions here. Interestingly, on this pace lap, noticed a few drivers just trying to go off onto the wetter part of the circuit. I don't think we have a dry line yet, far from it, but the racing line is maybe a shade drier than, or less wet, that's a better description, is slightly less wet than the outside of the track. So I think some of the drivers just trying to dip off into the slightly wetter part of the circuit while behind the safety car. Why would they do that? Well, what they're trying to do is manage the tyre temperature. A wet tyre is designed to work in cold, wet conditions. Therefore, it's made of soft compound so that it heats up quickly and gives good grip in wet conditions. The problem is if the track starts to dry, the compound is then too soft and it overheats, and as soon as it overheats, it really damages the tyre. So what the drivers try to do is they try to manage that tyre temperature by whether it be under a safety car or even under green flag racing, you'll see them go off the racing line on the straight usually and try and go through some wetter part to try and cool the tyre temperature down a little bit and keep it in its optimum window. And actually this safety car will certainly help to cool the tyre temperature, keep the wet weather tyre in its natural window, in its correct window, but also when you're going around behind the safety car, you're not wearing the tyre out anything like you are under green flag conditions. So with a lot of the drivers mentioned on the grid, 43 minutes of racing, if you're flat out for all that time, the tyre is really going to be past its best by the end. So having a little bit of time behind safety car, actually, drivers will be quite glad to see that. They'll have a little bit more life in the tyre left. Seems like Marco Giltrap's car has already been recovered from the turn 14 gravel trap, so amazing work from the team here at Sepang International Circuit. The truck already taking that number 84 machine back to the pits. Bausch & Long's not been the usual charge through the pack that we're used to seeing. Started from the back of the grid. He's made up a few positions. He's moved up to 24th place, but not the Bausch & Long we're used to seeing. So perhaps wet weather, we're finding out that he is human after all. He's completely dominated the Pro-Am class this year. He has a lead of 99 points in the championship, and it's not unusual for us to see Bausch & Long up there fighting it with the pros too. So he's he's maybe a little bit out of position there, but perhaps struggling a little in these wet weather conditions. I've got good news. Safety car in this lap. So the drivers will be getting word of that on the pit to car radio, saying get ready, it's time to go back racing. Alessandro Gueretti this time will lead us back into racing. It was Matthias Jobert who led us away from the safety car start. It will be Gueretti who leads us away from the safety car restart. The Porsche 911 Carrera S pace car has noticeably picked up a little bit of pace. I can imagine it's a formidable tool in these wet conditions here at Sepang International Circuit. It's in a nice sort of crayon grey colour, that Carrera S, very understated, very nice. I thought it was GT Silver yesterday, but it's not quite as metallic as the GT Silver, more of a kind of crayon style. Quite popular colour for Porsches nowadays. If it was for me, Island Green Metallic would have been my colour of choice. Paint to sample, of course. It's 911 GT3 Island Green Metallic. I'll put it on my Christmas list. Off goes the 911 Carrera S safety car then to leave the control of the field to Alessandro Gueretti. And look at Dylan Pereira in the pink BWT car just popping out of line there to just watch when Gueretti puts his foot down. That is the sign of an experienced competitor. Safety car already pulling off into the pits. Gueretti has got everyone bunched up. It's like downtown Kuala Lumpur traffic here, and now Gueretti hits the loud pedal, opens up all 510 horsepower, and Pereira, he saw that straight away. He's right on the back of Martin Raginger as they come through turn 15 and back into green flag racing. It's a 15-minute shootout for honours here in round 11 of the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia. Matthias Jobert then on the headlight flasher straight away, saying, I'm right behind you, Alessandro, and I'm not going to make this easy for you at all. Gueretti then late on the brakes there, braking in that straight line down into turn 1 and 2, getting the car almost to a crawl around that very, very tight right-hander, then flip the car over, almost turning right back on yourself for the run through the very tight left-hander of turn 3. And car running a little bit deep there. I think that's Dominic Chia, who's just run a little bit wide there, going down into turn 1. Easy done after a safety car period. Sometimes the brakes can kind of cool off a little bit as well, and just takes a minute to get back into the groove. So, unsurprisingly, a drive-through penalty has been administered to car number 18, Rodrigo Diaz Almeida, for incident responsibility for that clash with Marco Giltrap, which caused that safety car intervention. So a hefty penalty there for Rodrigo Diaz Almeida, but a fairly quick decision there from the stewards. Guiretti is just charging away at the front of the field, no problem at all for him with the safety car, and Gilbert is under pressure because Martin Ragginger trying to put Gilbert under pressure, twisting and turning back and forth. Nazim Azman also got his hands full there, and Ragginger going to try and go around the outside? Surely not. He gets way up onto the curb. He's been warned about track limits already, so you'll have to be careful. He's using all the curb and more there. There's obviously more grip than you think there on that exit curb. But Gilbert now getting into his groove. He's just starting to put a little bit of distance between himself and Ragginger as they come through turn 14, past the fans in the grandstand there. And Nazim Azman, good start for him. He's up to 4th position now and holding off Dylan Pereira, the 2022 Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup champion. Pereira just shows his nose on the inside in the mirror there, and he's going to be deep on the brakes. Azman leaves the door wide open. He's going to try and cut back, but Pereira might block the path. They're going to go side by side, but Azman, that is the sign of a local, knows where the grip is. You thought, wow, he's run wide. No, he hasn't. He's just way out on the wet line, finding grip that you never would think is there. But it's Guiretti who leads then after a great opening lap there after that safety car restart. 1.9 seconds to the good is Guiretti. Gilbert trying to hold off Martin Ragginger now as they go through turn 2 and 3. It's a long, slow run down the pit lane for Rodrigo Diaz Almeida. Oh, problem. Oh, cars skittling off everywhere. The 888 there of Yang Yatsi off and into the gravel. And unless he can get that move, we might get another safety car here. Oh, no. Oh, Yang Yatsi loses it going into turn 1. Oh, I hope they put enough petrol in the Porsche 911 Carrera S. I'm sure they have. Oh, he's trying to get out, but yeah, the wheels spinning. And that car is beached. The gravel doing its job. Hazard warning lights on. And yeah, engine off. That's it for Yang Yatsi. So frustrating after starting in a strong way up the field. He just loses it on his own, actually. Just on the brakes, and actually taps the back of the number 75 of Zhu Jiefeng for Z-Speed. And Zhu Jiefeng manages to just about avoid the gravel trap, which once you're in it, you're not getting out. So Guiretti, who's 1.9 seconds ahead, he won't be for much longer, and Yatsi stomps off to a position of safety. That's so frustrating. A tiny mistake, and indeed we do have a safety car again. Scrambled once again. I wonder if they even had the chance to get parked up there for the safety car driver and observer. It's a highly skilled job to be the safety car driver. It's not just about driving at 10/10ths, it's about managing the pace and following the instructions of race control and knowing what speed to go. Very, very important, because the demands of a road car and the demands of a race car and what they do and don't like are quite different. So great job as always from the safety car team. So everyone back behind the safety car and back behind Alessandro Guiretti with just 10 minutes on the clock in this 45-minute encounter. And interestingly, in that safety car restart, Munkong Satien Tirakul critically has passed Eric Kwong. So why is that important? Well, that is the battle for the AM class. When we went under safety car for the recovery of Marco Giltrap's machine, Eric Kwong was leading the AM class with Munkong Satien Tirakul right in behind him. But now Satien Tirakul is ahead. So that is very, very interesting. Eric Kwong will be hoping that we go back to green flag racing again, because otherwise he's going to lose another couple of points in the championship to Satien Tirakul. So the drivers make their way around. It's again still far too wet to consider a dry tyre, you would imagine. Or is it? I wonder. That will be what the teams are constantly assessing every single lap. And they'll be on the radio to the driver too as they're going down the straight, saying what is it like? What do we think? Can we move the slicks? Can we not? Is it worth it? Do we last it out on wets? I always think a good barometer is if there's spray coming up from behind the cars, and at the moment there is just a little bit, so that's usually a sign that you still need the wet tyre. And of course you've got to factor in the time of going in and changing to the dry tyre, so with 8 minutes or so left, I would imagine you're just going to have to make the best of the tyre that you've got on. It's actually quite localised. You get down here to turn 9 and looks quite clear, whereas a little bit more murky up the other end of the circuit. Very interesting. Well, quite remarkably, the Sepang International safety crew have already recovered the stricken 888 machine of Zhang Yachi, and the safety car will go in this lap, so we will go back to racing, and it will really be a dash for the flag now, with probably around 7 minutes to go by the time, 7.5 by the time we go back to green flag racing. So in these conditions, 4 laps, that's it. Buckle in, folks. Might actually even be 3 laps. So buckle in and get ready. This is going to be a thriller here at Sepang International Circuit. And don't write off Daniel Lu Wenlong. Remember, he started 29th on the grid. He's up to 6th. These safety cars have worked quite well for him. So the 911 Carrera S pulls off again into the pit lane. And once again, Guiretti has the field under control, and he hits the gas early. He hits the gas early to try and make a jump, as in the back, remember, no overtaking until the start and finish line. Gilbert has got Raginger right in behind him, and Guiretti is already pulling car lengths as they come out of turn 15. Back to green flag racing for round 11 of the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia. So just over 7 minutes to go. It's going to be mighty tight, actually, whether it's 3 laps or 4 laps left. We'll keep you abreast of that as we get the information. But not such a good restart there for Dylan Pereira, because Daniel Lu Wenlong has just gone charging past him and into 5th position. But we've got a spin again. Number 321, Li Xuan Yu, unfortunately, has turned it around at turn 1 for Z-Speed Motorsport. Now, he's on terra firma there, he's on the blacktop, so as long as he can get the car fired up, should be able to drive off from that position. But it's Daniel Lu Wenlong who's on the charge. He's up to 5th, remember, started 29th on the grid. So could he go from the back to win this race? It's not out with the realms of possibility. Confirmation that number 21, car 21, no, I don't know, that's a strange one. Car 21, drive-through penalty for overtaking before the line. Yes, we do, excuse me. Harris Lee has been given a drive-through penalty. Meanwhile, Martin Raginger has lost out to Nazim Azman. So Azman is onto the podium. Is Nazim Azman going to spray the champagne at home here at Sepang? But he might have to deal with Daniel Lu Wenlong, who's on a major charge. He's up to 5th. And right behind Raginger now. Raginger is determined to get his position back. Up the inside he goes in that beautiful Porsche holding machine. Runs wide and shuts the door off to Azman. Daniel Lu Wenlong sees it. Up the inside he goes then, and Azman toughs it out around the outside there through the sweeping turn 12 and 13. Fantastic stuff here at Sepang International Circuit. Raginger holding on to 3rd. Gilbert's a little bit further up the road. And Alessandro Guiretti, he's in no mood to have this race taken off him. He's been supreme at the front of the field. Despite 2 safety car restarts, he's managed to deal with them very well. He leads at the front of the pack. Lu Wenlong trying to get a move on Nazim Azman. Here comes Pereira. Don't forget about him in that BWT water machine. So this is a 4-car battle for the podium, and Dylan Pereira puts a wheel on the wet grass and the car just waves its tail in disgust there, but Pereira's right on top of it like a prize bullfighter. Fantastic. So just over 4 minutes left then on the clock. I would call that 2 laps to go. But the 21 of Harris Lee serving his drive-through penalty for overtaking before the safety car line, before the start and finish line. That is absolutely against the rules. So race control taking no prisoners at all there. So Alessandro Gueretti leads then by 2 seconds, having pulled out 1.3 seconds on that last lap. Fantastic stuff from the championship leader. Also Dylan Ipp, who started deep in the pack. Dylan Ipp started down in 26th. He's up to 7th. Amazing, absolutely amazing stuff in Pro-Am. It's the 33 of Liu Kai-shun, who's just ahead of the 77 of Eric Zhang in the AM class. Munkong Satien Tirukul is leading from Eric Kwong and is pulling away from Eric Kwong. He's leaving him in his dust. Well, if it weren't raining, he would have dust, but he's pulling out 3-4 car lengths at the moment is Munkong Satien Tirukul, and this will just bring the championship even closer in AM before we head to the streets of Singapore in just over a month's time. So what is the order of this podium going to be? Gueretti and Gilbert, they've cleared off at the front of the field with 3 minutes to go, and Raginger, he's managed to reclaim third position from Nazim Azman and now getting himself into a rhythm is Raginger. To get a podium would be just fantastic. One of countless podiums for Raginger in the history of this championship. He's been competing here in the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia since 2012. Been driving Porsche Cup cars since 2007, so he knows this format inside and out. 2.5 minutes to go then. It's going to be very tight how many laps we get by. Might just get 2 laps to go here, possibly. We'll wait for confirmation from race control. For Gueretti, I'm sure will just want to see the checkered flag and get out of here with some good championship points in the bag and get that win on the board here at Sepang. Well, we thought this extended race in the rain would provide entertainment and excitement. It certainly has. It's brought in entertainment, excitement, a little bit of controversy possibly. A big slide there for Daniel Lu Wenlong, just backing it through turn 3. His charge has just stalled a little since he got up into 5th position ahead of Dylan Pereira. Number 20, Daniel Lu Wenlong, has just not been able to make any further progress, but still from 29th on the grid, quite remarkable for that former champion. Fantastic stuff. Gueretti, he is meaning business now as well. On the last lap, he pulled out 2.1 seconds from Matthias Jobert. 2.1 seconds in a lap. So Gueretti has clearly got the full set. He's quick in the dry, quick over 1 lap, and quick in the wet. And for a Porsche junior driver, it's no wonder that Sasha Masson and the junior selection team have chosen this young Frenchman as the selected Porsche junior driver for 2024. And you look at the careers that some of those junior drivers have had, drivers like Julian Andler, Thomas Preining, Dennis Olsen, Sven Muller, Matteo Cairoli, Klaus Bachler, they've all gone on to drive for the Porsche factory. Many of them still do drive for the Porsche factory. So that is what Alessandro Gueretti's got his sights set on, and this drive here is just another one of many examples of his star quality. But also Jobert in second with 1 win yesterday and a second place. So a win and a second place yesterday, and it looks like it's going to be another second place, and critically we'll come out of Sepang, if we finish as we are, we'll come out of Sepang with a closer gap to Gueretti than when he arrived. And that is a good thing. Now Gueretti coming over the line, are we going to get one more here, or are we going to see the checkered flag? The time is out on the clock, it's very, very tight. Waiting to see if it's last lap board or checkered flag. Last lap it is, so one more then for Alessandro Gueretti then, but he's got an absolutely fantastic lead now. 5.4 seconds is the gap. He takes another 1.3 out of Jobert last time by, but the battle is on, the heat is on here as Azman goes up the inside of Raginger. Raginger gives him the space. They go side by side out of turn 3 for the rush towards turn 4. Raginger trying to hold off Azman, but he can't do it. Azman has got by. Nazim Azman, the local Malaysian driver, is up into 3rd place. He could climb the overall podium here at Sepang International Circuit in front of his friends and family here in Kuala Lumpur. Fantastic stuff from Nazim Azman then. He's got past one of the most experienced drivers in any Porsche Cup racing category. So Raginger back to 4th then. Little mistake late on, the 98 of Yao Liang Bo. But Azman, well, he's got by Raginger and he's saying, see you later. He's pulling away now from Martin Raginger on this last lap. Could it be possible? Could Azman catch Matthias Joubert? Joubert be looking in his mirror, almost relaxing and thinking, oh, wait, I need to get a shift on here, because Nazim Azman is having an amazing last lap here. It would be a big ask for Azman, but he is looking fantastic. But Raginger very, very deep on the brakes there, coming down into turn 9 for the last time. So is Raginger going to break the hearts of Nazim Azman and his friends and family here at Kuala Lumpur, or is Azman going to stay on the podium? One thing that's almost for sure, almost there, just a couple more corners for Alessandro Gueretti and Team Jebsen. This young man has just burst onto the scene this year, racing in the Mobil 1 Super Cup, in Carrera Cup France, and here in the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia. Looks so at home here in this region, in this championship, and he is got one corner to go between himself and a dominant victory here at Sepang. Out of the final corner he comes then. Alessandro Gueretti stuns in Sepang. Matthias Joubert will come home in 2nd, and Nazim Azman is going to get on the podium here at home in Kuala Lumpur. What a performance from him. Martin Raginger has to settle for 4th, and what a drive then from Daniel Lu Wen Long, from 29th on the grid to 5th. Amazing stuff. Your Pro-Am winner is going to be the 33 of Liu Kai-shun, and then have we got a switch for the AM class? We have Eric Kwong has overtaken Muntong Satyanthirakul on the last lap to win the AM championship race. Wow. Oh my goodness. So yesterday it was Muntong Satyanthirakul who overtook on the last lap and put Kwong down to 2nd, and now Kwong has returned the favour. Eric Kwong wins the AM class race. Amazing stuff here in the rain at Sepang. What drama. This circuit never disappoints here in the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia. Amazing stuff. Fantastic stuff. So, also, those last couple of late safety cars, they really worked in the favour of Bao Junlong, who, after the first safety car, was looming back in 24th, and we're thinking, wait a minute, is this a new Bao Junlong? This isn't the usual hard charger. Well, we needn't have doubted him. He managed to get all the way through to 13th place there, and that gets him 4th in the Pro-Am class, and with a lead coming into this race of 99 points, more than enough. But the big spoils go to Alessandro Gueretti, car number 55 for Team Jebsen, the 2024 Porsche Junior. A great job, and in those conditions, it just imperious. Ended up coming home with a gap of 7.1 seconds, and bearing in mind that we went back racing with 7 minutes to go, he's basically pulled out that gap in just 7 minutes. That's pretty impressive, to say the very least. Also impressive, Liu Kai-shun has had a great weekend. 2 wins. Unfortunately had a problem with a tyre that took him out of the race on our first race yesterday. But 2 wins for Liu Kai-shun, and well, he might well be planning a further assault on the Pro-Am Championship, because clearly he's a front runner in that class. Former F4 racer, of course, so knows racing at the professional level. Eric Kwong, well, I think he will be smiling as wide as you can believe, because he's normally smiling when he comes out of the car, but to make that move to beat Muntong Satyen Tirukul on the last lap for the AM honours. Wow, we will have, I'm sure, a very, very happy Eric Kwong. So our drivers make their way back into the Sepang pit lane for the final time this weekend. It's been a packed weekend of action. 2 30-minute races, a 45-minute race. We've been under lights, we've been in the rain, all sorts. But the big cheers for Nazim Azman at home for Seam Derby Motors, local Porsche importer, of course, dealership. And that's just such a great thing for that team. They'll be absolutely delighted, as will Alessandro Gueretti. It's not been an easy weekend for him. It hasn't been plain sailing, but this is how champions step above star quality. Yeah, I'm very happy, Alessandro Gueretti. And I'm sure Team Jemison are just delighted with this young man and the job he's done for that team. There he goes. That's an excited young driver. Brilliant stuff. Brilliant stuff. Well, what a round 11 of the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia for 2024. Alessandro Gueretti, your winner then by 7.1 seconds over Nazim Azman in third. What a story for that local driver getting up on the podium. Martin Ragginger had to settle for fourth, and Daniel Liu Wenlong finishing in fifth from 29th on the grid. Dylan Pereira, not what he comes for, 6th place. He'll be disappointed with that. Dylan Ip from all the way back in 26th, he makes his way up to 7th. Liu Kai-shun gets another win in Pro-Am to make it 2 out of 3 for this weekend, just ahead of Eric Zhang. Eric Kwong, well, what a performance for him, getting ahead of Munkong Satyen Tirukul to take the AM win on the last lap. Just a couple of retirements, unfortunately, for Zhang Yatzi and Marco Giltrap, who will be, I'm sure, pretty irritated and disappointed by his by the end of his race. It was an eventful race. Let's take a look at it. So we kicked off behind the Porsche 911 Carrera S safety car with Mathieu Joubert leading the field away. Wet conditions all the way through, and once we got going, well, it was just action from start to finish. Joubert, in that Toro racing machine, tried everything he could to hold off Alessandro Gueretti, but just couldn't manage it. Unsurprisingly, Martin Ragginger made moves through and all race long tussled away with local hero Nazim Azman, with Azman coming out on top. But the most controversial moment, an error, big error from Rodrigo Diaz-Almeida, getting into the back of Marco Giltrap and sending him into the barrier. What a pity for that young man, but he'll be back to fight another day. A tiny error from Yang Yatzi had big consequences, ending his race and bringing out the second of 2 safety cars. But no matter what was thrown his way, rain, safety cars, you name it, Alessandro Gueretti showed his star quality once again to take the victory in round 11 of the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia. So we saw how happy Alessandro Gueretti was. Let's hear from him with Steve.
Alessandro Gueretti on the top step of the podium, potentially, hopefully to stay this time. Take us through that 45 minutes, Alessandro.
Yeah, it was just an amazing race. First thing I need to say is thank you to my team. My engineer, of course, for the mega car today, and as well for my mechanics, because they worked late yesterday because we had a contact in the race too. So yeah, they did a short night, but yeah, makes sense because now the job is done. We won the race. It was really, really good.
How did you get your nose in front? What was the maneuver?
I felt straight, confident. I like rain condition, so I knew I had to push from the beginning. So I was putting pressure on Matisse from already the beginning of the race for the first few corners, and then at one point he made a mistake and I could pass him and then develop the pace.
Great finish to a long weekend. Well done.
Thank you very much.
A very impressive young man, Alessandro Gueretti, loves the rain, and boy, could you see that there. Just pulled away like he was in a different motor race. Fantastic stuff. Well, it was also fantastic stuff from our Pro-Am winner, from Lukai Shun, who's recovered from the disappointment of race 1 to put not 1 but 2 wins on the board here at Sepang International Circuit. And, well, after a class that's been dominated all year long by Bao Jinlong, Lukai Shun has changed up the narrative a little bit in that class. Bao Jinlong still has a good championship advantage, particularly after that charge through the field there. But let's hear from Steve and our Pro-Am winner.
Yes, Liu Kai-shun wins all the marbles among the Pro-Ams. Difficult conditions. Was it really trying out there?
Yeah, first time in this car, especially on wet, it's very challenging because I don't know how the car and tires gonna respond. So, yeah, but first bit the pace was, I think it's pretty good. But after the first safety car, my pace dropped a little bit, and after the second safety car, dropped another bit. So, yeah, but well, the main thing is I finished the race.
Did you find that the conditions changed a lot during the race, or was it fairly consistent? I mean, it must have dried up a little bit.
Yeah, it's drying up pretty fast, and my tire pressure goes up very fast. But the line's still wet, so yeah, it's pretty tough.
Okay, well done. Enjoy the champagne.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's one thing we didn't consider. Lukai Shun never competed race distance in the car in the wet, and yeah, starting to dry, track temperature going up, and we've got in just the nick of time. It seems like the rain is just starting to really fall hard here at Sepang International Circuit with more standing water. We got just a very tight window of opportunity there and got the full race distance in. Great job from the organisers here in the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia. Now, one interview I can't wait to hear is Eric Kwong, who managed to overtake on the last lap over Munkong Satien Tirakul to open up his championship advantage. Let's see how Eric's feeling.
Eric Kwong's just put his overalls back on in the space of 15 seconds. I won't say that was the quickest he's moved all day, because it certainly wasn't. You moved very quickly and performed very well. Take us through the race.
Yeah, I mean, it was very tough condition and a long race with the safety car and stuff like that. And I think my car is deteriorating fairly quickly, but it stayed constant throughout the race. And thank you for the team for that. And yeah, I was P2 in my class behind Turbo, and I start to see he's deteriorating as well. And then I try to catch up, and then last lap, and I was like already gave up because like 2-3 car length behind, and then he starts slower and slower in the sector 3. Then you know what? There's a chance. Why don't we take it? Let's go. And then yeah, second to last corner, try to overtake him safely, no touch. Yeah.
All right, congratulations. We look forward to seeing you in Singapore and then Shanghai.
Thank you so much.
Brilliant stuff from Eric Kwong, and he opens up his gap a little bit in that very tightly contested AM Championship battle. Well, Monsieur Bibendum, the Michelin man, has already made his way up onto the podium. Wonder if his suit is waterproof. Probably is. I mean, the Michelin tyre certainly works very well in the wet. Why not the Michelin man's suit? Putting on some great moves. Warm-up exercises possibly ready for the podium celebrations. I wonder if he knows we're talking about him there. the wonderful Michelin man. Always fun to come here to Kuala Lumpur and Sepang International Circuit. A wonderful city, great food, great people, and a great motor racing culture. As long as you don't mind racing in the wet occasionally, and to be honest, who doesn't like racing in the wet? It's great fun. Alessandro Gueretti, he certainly said he loves it. And when you've got that in your toolkit as a driver, that is such an advantage to have, because you always are going to race in the wet from time to time. And if you see the rain come down, and if you think, yes, that's great, rather than, oh no, not the rain, already you've got your rivals beaten. And we saw that today in pretty strong fashion. Really impressive stuff from Alessandro Gueretti, who will go into the next round at Marina Bay in Singapore, on the streets of Singapore, in just over a month's time, with slightly better championship advantage than the start of the race today. He came into this weekend with a 32-point advantage. It had been trimmed by Gilbert to just 14 points. That will extend out a little bit there with Guiretti taking the win and by a good distance the fastest lap of the race there. So a very, very strong performance from Alessandro Guiretti. And don't forget, of course, 3 races to finish off the season in Shanghai. As Alex Imperatori told us, the proper end-of-season party with the Porsche family at the end of October, the 25th to the 27th of October, a triple header in Shanghai, and we could see the championship, particularly in AM and maybe even in Pro, go back and forth there as well. Well, we're so thankful that we managed to get that race done, because already the rain is just starting to really come back down again hard here at Sepang, and now standing water. That was one thing we didn't have during that 45-minute race, which meant that it was safe to go racing. As soon as you start to get a lot of standing water, that's where things can be a little bit too dangerous to go racing, because the tread blocks in the tyres fill up and the car can slide around quite a lot more. So a little bit of good fortune and some great organising from the Porsche Motorsport Asia Pacific team, and of course the circuit team here at Sepang International Circuit. The drivers won't have long to go and catch their flights home as well, because we're right beside the international airport here in Kuala Lumpur. Just a very short hop into town, where you can enjoy some fantastic food, and also some very good golf around here too. If you enjoy a game of golf, some great golf courses. Royal Selangor, another one you can go and enjoy. So our drivers, they're just making their way up to the podium to spray the champagne for the final time this weekend. A triple header, of course, this weekend, with the Pro honours being taken by Matthias Gilbert, Dylan Pereira and Alessandro Guiretti. So 3 different winners in the Pro class. In the AM class, 2 going the way of Eric Kwong, and 1 heading to Munkong Satien Tirako. In the Pro-Am class, 1 for Bao Jinlong and 2 for Luo Kai-shun in his first proper weekend racing here at Sepang in a Porsche 911 GT3 Cup. So an amazing job from him. But let's get down to the podium. The drivers have made their way there.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podium presentation for round 11 of the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia 2024 in Sepang. Now let's invite the winners of round 11 of Porsche Carrera Cup Asia 2024 for the overall class. Let's welcome at 3rd place, number 17, Nazim Azman from Sime Derby Racing Team. At 2nd place, number 99, Mathis Jobert from Toro Racing. And our 1st place winner, number 55, Alessandro Guiretti from Team Jepson. And the Diller Trophy winner goes to Team Jepson. The Endurance Challenge Best Newcomer Trophy winner is Lu Wenlong from EBM. Giga Racing. Now we'd like to welcome Mr. Alexander Imperatori, manager of Porsche Carrera Cup Asia, to present the Winner Trophy and Dealer Trophy. Next, let's welcome Mr. Charles Chum, Michelin China Championship Manager, to present the 2nd place trophy. now we'd like to invite Mr. Winston Fong, Head of Marketing and Brand Communications, Sime Darby Auto Performance, to present the third place trophy and Endurance Challenge Best Newcomer Trophy. All right, and now for a group photo, please, with our winners. Congratulations once again to our overall class winners. All right, thank you very much. Congratulations, well done. It's time for champagne!
Off they go. Alessandro Gueretti still struggling with the cork of his champagne bottle, leaving himself under threat from his rivals. He's still, there it goes. Oh, and Nassim Hasman gets a full face of Bollinger there. Well, that's the joys of being on the podium, right in the eyes. And yeah, a cheers as well. Interesting reading the body language on the podium. Gueretti's so pleased with his win there. That really meant something to get that victory. For Matthias Jobert, I mean, you can tell a champion's resolve, standing there second on the podium and just thinking, oh, that hurts. I wanted to win. The pro drivers, they're driving at the top level and they don't come for second, they come for the win. And Gueretti delighted with that. But our Pro-Am podium finishers, let's see how they're feeling.
All right, now let's welcome the winners of round 11 Porsche Carrera Cup Asia 2024 for the Pro-Am class at third place. Number 7, Bao Chinlong from Phantom Global Racing. At second place, number 77, Eric Zhang from Toro Racing. And first place, number 33, Liu Kai-shun from R&B Racing. Would now like to welcome Mr. Alexander Imperatori, manager of Porsche Carrera Cup Asia, to present the winner trophy. And next, let's welcome back Mr. Charles Chung, Michelin China Championship Manager, to present the second place trophy. And now we'd like to invite Mr. Winston Fong, Head of Marketing and Brand Communications, Sime Darby Auto Performance, to present the third place trophy. And now for a group photo. Congratulations once again to our podium finishers for the Pro-Am class. Big smiles for the camera. All right, now take cover. It's champagne time, ladies and gentlemen. A time for a celebration.
So Eric Zhang, he's doing it properly there, giving it the full yeehaw with the champagne. Great job by Liu Kai-shun getting the victory there. Bao Jinlong, great job to get up onto the podium as well. And the spoils go to Liu Kai-shun. I do find it amusing that as soon as the champagne bottles come out, the Michelin man, he runs for cover. He wants to keep his suit dry. But let's have a look at the AM podium as well.
And now we move on to the winners of round 11 Porsche Carrera Cup Asia 2024. This is the M class. At third place, we have number 91, Henry Kwong from Triple Ace Racing. At second place, number 76, Mankong Sethin Tirakul from EBM. Giga Racing. At first place, our winner is number 23, Eric Kwong from Bergwerk Motorsport. And the Endurance Challenge Best Newcomer Trophy winner is Dominic Jia from Trans China Automotive Racing. And now let's welcome back Mr. Alexander Imperatori, our manager of Porsche Carrera Cup Asia, to present the winner trophy. Next up, let's welcome Mr. Charles Chung, the Michelin China Championship Manager, on the second place trophy. And now let's welcome Mr. Winston Fong, Head of Marketing and Brand Communications, BMW Auto Performance, to present the third place trophy and Endurance Challenge Best Newcomer Trophy. All right, and now for a group photo, please. Congratulations to all of our winners here at round 11 Porsche Carrera Cup Asia 2024. All right, thank you. You know what time it is? It's time to take cover. It's time for a celebration. Champagne time, everyone.
Well, what a weekend we've had here at Sepang International Circuit. 3 races in rain, in dark, and in sunshine as well. Super excitement all the way through. But the excitement continues in the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia. Just over a month's time, third week of September, we head to Singapore. Join us then. Goodbye.